ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Thank you very much for being here to another talk on digital assets. I'm very pleased to have another great guest today here with us. It's Sagar Barvaliya, investment manager at Blockrocket. Sagar, a pleasure to have you here as well.
Thank you, Francisco. It's a pleasure to be here.
Sagar, I introduced you very briefly, and I didn't talk about Blockrocket at all. So why don't you introduce what the company does?
Sure. So first of all, as you already told about me, that I'm Sagar, investment manager at Blockrocket. You can consider also as a chief evangelist at Blockrocket. So what we are doing at Blockrocket is we are an early stage startup investor for blockchain-based startups. We are based in Germany, but we invest globally with ticket size up to 500,000 euro. We can also invest €500,000 into follow-up rounds. And most important is like blockchain startups using the blockchain as a non-speculative use case for the blockchain.
So you're mentioning already startups in the early stage, but can you tell us a little bit more about the opportunities that you are actually looking at? What are the key targets, for instance?
So yes, I think our investment thesis is very clear. So we started in 2019 to disrupt the blockchain ecosystem in Germany. But sooner we realized that we should go globally. So we started investing globally in blockchain-based startups. So what we're looking for is like our startup are using blockchain as a technology to build some infrastructure project, wallet providers, or any right use cases by using the blockchain. So I think the digital asset space is really emerging. And if you heard about probably like when anyone thinks about digital asset, means like suddenly it comes to one word in your mind, which is Bitcoin. So it is in fact like it's a gold standard for this asset class, right? And recently also started begin the attraction of like a larger institutional player like JP Morgan, Fidelity, Tesla, and Squares, and among others. So however, like digital asset encompasses far more than Bitcoin, right? So what we are looking for is like our investment thesis is very clear. What we look for is like early stage startups, those who are using blockchain, leveraging blockchain technology to build a really good project. And we are looking for like a next unicorn in the blockchain space.
And maybe to make this clearer for the startups that are working in this space, once you identify a startup, what attracts your attention? So, I mean, we all know about the key topics, right? There has to be the right team, it has to be the right timing. But when you do this sort of due diligence or analysis of a startup for your portfolio, what attracts your attention? What are you looking for?
So I think this is really interesting question, Francisco. So we are an early stage startup investor, right? So we fall into that zone, death valley of that startup investment area, where most of the startup fails within like 1 year or 6 months, or I would say like in 18 months. So for me, it's very important. Like the main question I ask myself when I meet a founder is like, if I would work for that person. And the second question I also ask for myself is, I can imagine them taking over the industry, right? So we are highly looking for like early stage startup founders, like who are they, what is their background, and on top of that, what they're actually building. Sometimes it is really good to be early, but it's also sometimes it's really good not to be early. So for our investment thesis is clear that we are looking for like high performing driven startup founders. On top of that, what they are building. So you have seen that like in ICO bubble in 2017, like 80% of ICO are scam. Like it's not my word. It's a study. Some research institute did a study on ICO, and out of that 80% were like a scam. So that means like only 20% were actual startup, and out of them like almost like 5% only succeeded. So we want to be in that 5% area where we can show like, okay, in couple of years, if somebody asks us like Blockrocket, what is your investment thesis in investment into early stage startup, then we can show them like this is what we look for it, and this is what we did in past. And that's why we figure out like these startups are going to be the next unicorn in blockchain space.
And I assume this is the very helpful information that many startups will be looking for, but this is only the component of what you're looking for when you are having a startup that is interesting for you. Are you actually, what are the key characteristics of a startup that you are looking for when you want to make an investment? But if we want to broaden up a little bit the topic and maybe talking about the segments and eventually also the assets themselves that might be behind some of these startups. I mean, you mentioned already Bitcoin is still a central component of this, but it's not the only one. We have various assets that goes from the private money to the digitalized assets or tokenized asset, to be even more specific about that. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about how do you see the development in the field right now? What are the key developments that are capturing your attention these cases?
I think, Francisco, we need to understand, like, first of all, like, what are the digital space, asset spaces means, right? So there are like a four characteristics. Like, first one is the Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is like censorship resistant, peer-to-peer decentralized platform, right? This is all when this whole thing started, right? And second point, I would say like a platform, like just think about yourself in Web2 ecosystem, which is like Apple Store, where you are building so many apps based on Mac, right, iOS. So you can consider Apple Store, which is like a Ethereum. Ethereum is like another platform to build the D apps, right? So like decentralized application working peer to peer. So the third characteristic of digital asset, which is like a decentralized application, which is getting built on Ethereum. So same way we are building on Web2, which is like Apple Store, and there we're building many applications. And the last but not least, which is like NFT, digital coins are unique to some blockchain. So you can see like there are like number of platforms and number of L1 and L2 solution emerging. So these are the like a four characteristics when you come to, you can differentiate the like a main 4 points of the digital assets. And moving further, you have like lots of verticals where different number of like startup getting developed, and then you have to choose like which verticals you would like to focus and where you want to go further.
That's amazing. And if I take one piece of your discussion, I mean, for some points, I think you put the blockchain more in front as compared to others, or at least that's why I captured for some of the elements that you mentioned. But blockchain is more than even just digital assets, so to say, right? Blockchain can have a broader impact. If we take a step back and then we talk only about the technology and see how the technology could impact the world, or eventually could, following your view, could impact the world, what are the key messages that you would like to mention to the audience today?
Sure. I mean, why blockchain? It's really simple to answer from my perspective, which is like I would like to take a little bit back into Web2 economy. So in Web2 economy, we were like write and edit, right? So just think about like this paradigm shift of digital transformation, right? So digital transformation means like if we go back to like 20 years, people had no internet, no mobile phone, and no social media interaction. But we are living in the 21st century, where we are like in 2022, like everyone have the like one tip, like one tip finger away from their mobile phone internet connection. Their interact on social media via their mobile phone, and we can see that like this is like whole new space is emerging, right? So I think it's not only about like a digital asset and speculation, but blockchain is way more than that. Like, I mean, just look at the like current geopolitical situation and think about like if you want to move your assets, you cannot do it, right? But think that you own the digital asset, which is really easy to move. If you can remember like 12 words, then it doesn't matter. You just go to any part of the world and you just rephrase that 12 words and you put it in that blockchain ledger, and you can have all the digital assets. But beyond the value proposition, I think you can also use these assets in different economy. They're like a different economy, like a parallel to real world is like a virtual economy is getting created. I think if we see the down the road 5 to 10 years, we will see that if you picture zoom in and zoom out, that many better use cases are coming out, which could be like a better infrastructure, Web3 emergence, new creator economy, and expanded opportunities across industries and countries, cross virtual world interaction, and many more. I think we don't have time to go in that much in details, but I hope I answer your question.
Indeed, we don't have time to go that much into details about that, but you mentioned a few points that capture my attention in this case, and these are Web3. You talk about the digital space. Now it reminds me of another hype or another big topic that we are seeing in the market, and this is, of course, the metaverse. What is your take on the metaverse, and how do you link the metaverse to digital assets in case?
Sure. I think metaverse, which is a current new buzzword, and people see it as a hype. But I think it becomes the lingo since Facebook renamed their from Facebook to the Meta, right? And then suddenly everyone started talking about metaverse. So I would like to also answer your previous question, which is also related to the metaverse, which is like you asked, like about the blockchain goes way beyond to the digital assets, right? So we can think about like a blockchain could be used in identity platform, patent and copyrights, fashion industry, music, gaming, digital arts, domain name and certification and licenses, insurance market. I think this list goes on. But coming back to your topic on metaverse, metaverse become popular buzzword, right? As I said earlier, this is like an experience virtual space, which is more than real and then the real things. So I think if we see this is like metaverse, which is going to stay here, but this is like a parallel economy getting created parallel to our real economy. So like just think about yourself, you are interacting, you are eating, you are talking with your friends, you have like a real virtual lands, you can claim it on the metaverse, which is exactly parallel to our virtual real world. But this is the things getting built on the metaverse. Some people think like Oculus is metaverse, some people think like a mixed reality AR VR is the metaverse. But if you see 10 years down the road, we will have total different experience in the world, like in the like metaverse. There must be like lots of hurdles depending on the regulatory approvals. But I think the Facebook is already in. So I think Google, Apple, they are just waiting for the regulation, and for them it's just a switch button. I think when there is the right time, everyone will jump into the metaverse and people will start interacting with each other on metaverse, and that will create also another level economy where people are interacting in metaverse. For example, we both sitting in our couch in our metaverse villa somewhere in the like Hollywood and just sipping the cup of coffee and talking about blockchain and other stuff.
Well, that would be an amazing experience, I have to say. Let's see how long we need to wait in order to see this realized. But you have been talking about already this virtual space and what you can do there. I mean, there is for sure one among the digital assets that people are looking at right now, which is NFTs or non-fungible tokens that are receiving a lot of attention. And some of them are, of course, linked to the metaverse, or you can use them into the metaverse. Now my question will be, first of all, do you own any NFTs? And second of all, what do you think about them?
I think this is a really great question, and which will again, which I think it's also again related with the metaverse and NFT. So I would like to combine again. And coming back to first your question, which is like if I own an NFT, yes, I own some of them, but which I all didn't bought. I just got as a gift from some of the projects and some of the airdrops. But I think NFT. So first of all, I would like to tell you and your audience maybe it's what is NFT? NFT is like non-fungible token, right? So what do you mean by non-fungible token? Non-fungible token, which is like a unique in each case, which is running on the blockchain. It could be Ethereum blockchain, Polygon blockchain, or like a Solana. So non-fungible, which is like if I give you like a simple example, let's say like Bitcoin or like a bottle of water, right? So Bitcoin, which is like a fungible token, there are like 21 million equal same tokens, which is called as a fungible token, or something like your fiat currency, which is you can print it like infinite number of notes or the coins, which are the fungible token. But non-fungible token, which is like unique in terms of like, so when just think about like a picture of Mona Lisa or rare rare bottle of wine, whiskey from the some famous place, or like a violin or the picture made by some of the artists from the Australia. So this kind of thing you can consider as an NFT. But some view NFT as a bubble and the metaverse as just another fad, right? But it doesn't seem that way, because network effect can often bring out the best in any types of industry. For example, with the NFT, we are seeing more ecosystem and activity that has been driving the growth of the DeFi. So like a decentralized finance, right? So which is getting built on Ethereum blockchain. So metaverse is also adding more users who can now purchase and exchange these digital assets. And these users benefit through monetization of their tokenized content as an NFT. So for example, let's say you are a gamer. So you are playing a game and you earn some of the avatars or you earn some of the collectibles, which could be as a part of NFT. So that part is tokenized is an NFT. So let's say like once you are a part of any virtual world, you can start accumulating digital assets in wallet. One popular application for this is like a video game. So rewards and bonus are often collected and redeemed. Then from monetary rewards are going to change, right? And you can NFT, you can transfer this by adding more value to having game rewards. So let's say if you earn these very rare rewards by playing your favorite project video game, in the metaverse, then you can store them that as an NFT. So let's say you can in future you can also trade as another asset, or you can trade it for the money. So let's say in future you have like some rare assets as a collectible in NFT form. You can sell it in the third party exchange or some of the open marketplaces in DeFi space, and you can earn some money. So I think that's some of my answer about like NFT and like use of NFT in metaverse.
Well, let's see how much money I will be able to earn from that, to be honest, because my experience is also limited in this field up to now as compared to others who have been there for even longer. But I'm picking up, and I will keep you posted. And I hope you will do this with us and with all the ladies and gentlemen that have been being with us today. I think we are right now at the end of our interview. It would have been great to talk to you for the next couple of hours and even days because of your experience and knowledge that you're sharing. But I would like to take this occasion to thank you and thank all the viewers. And I look forward to the next iteration. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Francisco, for having me. And for the audience, please reach out to us if you're looking for funding. You can just go to www.blockrocket.io and apply for funding. If you are looking for some other information about us, you can also reach out to us. But yeah, thanks a lot, Francesco, and have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Good luck to all. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.